Hey there, Joe here, Profit First Reseller. Gonna do a little listing session today, and I'm gonna do something with you that I have come to call volume listing. So here's the situation. I have been sick. I haven't been listing as much as I'd like to be these last couple of months. Inventory's been piling up. My garage is getting over full, hard to walk through. Even here in my workspace. You know, if you're not listing, then the stuff can start to pile up. And this is the time that I start to fantasize about having more storage, having a warehouse, yada, yada. But really, I know that if I got a warehouse, I would just be another place to put my mess. And it's broken for my business right now. It's just my processes. Not that it's broken, but I just need to do some triage right now. And so when I start getting feeling like my space is too much, I do some volume listing. So it kind of reminds me of what people have termed volume eating, where I've seen people eating these large trays of roasted vegetables, high volume food with less calories, but lots of fiber and some protein, so you feel full. What I mean by volume listing here in my eBay store is I currently have at least a few bins of these that I've currently brought up into my room. These are Guitar Hero guitars, Rock Band guitars, all that stuff. And I need to get rid of them. So I've decided, and I decided this a year or two ago in my store, that I'm not going to be testing these Guitar Hero controllers. I'm going to be listing them as is. I've realized that the people that are playing Guitar Hero still are hardcore. They're like the Smash Brothers players. They have high precision, high requirements for their controllers. Often they will take these controllers apart and modify them. So I just sell these as is, and that allows me to get these in and out quickly. And so I guess I'm dancing around it. Volume listing in my store means I'm picking the biggest stuff that I can. That's what I'm talking about. These Guitar Hero guitars are huge and they make my space feel small, and it doesn't need to be that way. So I've just made the decision to sell these things as quick as I can, untested, 4 parts as is, get them out cheap, let other people test them. I've even have regular customers who are pawn shops that I think are good at, oh, this is a cool one. This one actually has playable strings here as well as multiple fret buttons. Like dozens and dozens of individual buttons. That's insane. What a cool little controller. This is the Mustang. So I don't know if I've sold this one before. A lot of these I do have existing listings on my store, so that's what I'm going to be doing here. So I'm just going to go over my active listings, and I'm just going to type in Mustang, see what comes up. Yeah, I don't think I have this one. Okay, so let's just search this model number, which is 97563-C. I'm guessing the C is for the candy apple red color here. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm going to look in the solds. I see a couple listed. Definitely some value here. So pre-owned for 60, for 45 plus shipping. No dongle, yeah, and just not a lot listed. This one is it's a rare one. That's so interesting. So I'm going to take, I hope you can see my phone screen over here. I like the format of this particular one, but I'm not going to say no dongle. I'm going to say untested guitar controller, and then it's going to be in the 4 parts repair category. And then I just got to take a bunch of good pictures, and that's all it takes for an eBay listing like this. I'm seeing that it goes tested and working for about 60, so I'm going to cut that in half and get it out of my life. So I'm going to go $29.99, which is right at what eBay recommends, funny enough. And I'm going to bump up that shipping to 15. That's kind of what my standard shipping price for these guitars with the box and everything. It's around 15 bucks. And then I just throw it right here on my floor, right here on my carpet. And do the AI description here. I am pretty compulsive. Every time I start a session, I've got these awesome, this looks like a CVS receipt, but it's actually a lens cleaner my wife got me and my kids. And so I always clean the screen of my phone before I start taking photos here. And then I'm just going to get some photos. Just get nice high quality photos at the top, all the way down, and on the back. I'll get one full body. And I'll get some close-ups of both the tag and the battery terminals. I think that should be good. And so one thing I didn't track down, oh yes, I'm so close to finishing. So I get these rolls by the 1,000 of individual SKU numbers. And this particular one actually includes some spillover. So it goes over 6,000 all the way to 6,008, which I think is really nice. But I've been waiting for the new roll for, I don't know, a few months now. And I got the new roll from 6,000 to 7,000 right over there. So we are currently on 5,993. So what I do, I take this sticker is nice and permanent on the back, and I don't like to fix this directly to any of my products. So I always put an extra layer of this blue painter's tape, which always comes off super cleanly, doesn't leave any residue, but it also sticks in a way that I trust it. And then I put that tag on the top so that I can store these back in a bin and easily check for the tag here when one of them sells. I'll put it back over here. I think that's all for that one. $29.99. Oh, I gotta put in the SKU. $59.93 in here. Cool. And that one is a longer process. We actually had to start this one from scratch, but not that much harder. Yes, buy it now. Offers yes. Okay, great. Well, let's grab the next one. Let's see if we can get this thing moving. So the other thing that I wanted to talk with you guys today, now that we have gotten a little bit of momentum here, is a couple of videos ago, I mentioned that I was going to be meeting maybe with the eBay representative with the government relations team, and I did do that. We had a meeting yesterday, and I think it's going to be a good fit. I mean, I didn't get an official yes or anything, but I definitely expressed my interest, and we seem to be on the same page. And it was interesting talking to them. So they are based out of Washington, D.C. It's this team, and it's a team from eBay. So they're eBay employees, but they also work with a group of eBay sellers. And that's what they're asking me to be a part of. And they essentially try to, I don't know, she never said the word lobby, because I assume that's a bad word, but their idea is to influence how the laws are being made in Washington, D.C. there. And she said maybe last year or the year before, their focus was more on the reducing the 1099K threshold and making sure that that didn't happen, and making sure it stayed higher, like, I don't know, 10,000 or 20,000 instead of 500 like it was being proposed, just because they were, rightfully so, seemed that would maybe scare away a lot of the small sellers. And so this year, what the eBay government relations team is focused on, is the PlayStation 3 one. So essentially, I'm just like searching the model number here. I'm going to hit sell similar, and then I'm just going to get some new pictures. So I hit sell similar. I'll have an old listing of mine. I'll have the exact same model number. It's already untested. That's how I sell these. And I'll hit remove. But everything else should apply. It's an untested 4-parts controller. So this one goes for $35. So again, I'm selling these controllers $35 untested. And a lot of times they work. I mean, most of the time they are in quite good condition. I also tend to take out the battery cover so I can show that in that first screen, so the customer knows everything they're getting. If there is a battery cover, you can see that there on the first screen. So what was I talking about? The eBay government relations team. Last year, their focus was making sure that 1099K threshold did not get lowered, which I think was successful. This year, what it seems like the eBay government relations team is focused on is this new act that has been proposed the last couple of years, hasn't been passed yet, but what they're worried about is that it will increase even further companies' powers to use the VeRO program on eBay. So I don't know how many of you have had run-ins with the VeRO program, but often it's not good. Obviously we want to make sure that companies can protect their brand, right? I think it's in all of our best interest to make sure that eBay is not full of fakes. And I think the express purpose of the VeRO program is to allow companies like Louis Vuitton to make sure that a bunch of fakes aren't being sold on eBay, right? The problem is with this VeRO program, and what a lot of us experienced resellers have experienced, is that companies don't just use the VeRO program to protect their own brand image. They also use it to protect pricing. And that's where it starts feeling a little bit unethical to me, where you hear these examples of companies, claiming that somebody has a bunch of false or fake merchandise, even if they got it directly from the source, because the companies don't want competition online. It's essentially what it comes down to, and it's pretty clear. But it's a tricky thing to balance, because companies should have the right to have fakes taken down that are using their brand, in a wrongful fashion. I get that. The tricky part is with the current legislation, there's no need for third-party authentication on that claim that the item is false. So if Louis Vuitton comes to eBay and says, this purse is false, and you need to ban that seller from ever selling again, I think there's some kind of a 3 strikes and you're out policy that's being proposed, where if a seller tries to sell something 3 times, they get banned forever. The problem is Louis Vuitton can just claim that as the legislation stands. There's no third party that is also going to verify that, yes, this is indeed a fake product that should be removed from the market, and not just Louis Vuitton taking down all the other sellers to make sure that only their authorized network of sellers can sell Louis Vuitton, which obviously from the profit motive, that would be their motivation. But I think that ethically, in America especially, I think that the consumer has the right to do whatever they want with the item once they've bought it. And if you go into a Ralph Lauren outlet store and you buy some things, I think that you should have every right to go resell it on the platform of your choice, even as a business. I think that should be your right. Seems like businesses are trying to get into that a little bit and say, no, that's not your right because it's our brand. But if you bought it and it's a legitimate item, you should be able to say what it is. And so this is the kind of nuanced stuff that they're talking about. I think I'm fascinated by it. So I'd love to be part of this program. So we'll see. But that seems to be their focus, is that it's this act called the Shop Safe Act. And it could potentially increase businesses' ability to ban people, to force eBay to act through this VeRO program, which is, I think, kind of similar. I think there was a similar act, and that's where the VeRO program came into play. And of course, yeah, it makes sense. We don't want fakes on these marketplaces, and companies should have the right to come in and say, hey, I challenge that is a legit item. But the problem is a lot of the time companies claim that that process of authenticating is their own, how do I say this? Like it's like confidential or something. I guess I'm struggling for the right word. That's their own personal protected information. And if they gave out the whole checklist of how to determine if it was a real or a fake one, that might actually help empower the creators of the fake ones to do an even better job. So it makes sense that they want to keep some of those processes of determining if it's a real or a fake close to the vest. So I'm not sure what the right answer is, right? I don't know. I often don't know who to trust when it comes to authenticating stuff. Like, it seems sometimes like maybe even a third party, in some cases, an expert third party might even be better at telling a pair of fake Nikes versus real than maybe even Nike themselves in some cases. So, I don't know. Very, very thought-provoking to me. So I guess that's kind of what I wanted to give you a quick update on the government relations program here. Give you a little insight here into my volume listing. So when you're feeling overwhelmed with all this stuff, try considering just listing the biggest stuff that you have first. It's not the most fun. I have so many bins of games and memory cards and tiny little valuable stuff. I'm going to hold on to them and let those just stack and let my pile of inventory continue to get more and more valuable, because I am prioritizing for space and efficiency in this business. I want to stay out of this house. I want to stay out of the garage. So volume listing is the name of the game today. I think I'm just going to settle in and get a listing session in. So I think I'm going to keep this video short. 2 quick thoughts about the government relations, and then just volume listing and how I handle overwhelm and inventory here on eBay. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to be making more videos soon. You know how it goes. See you soon. Until then, see you in the comments. Peace.